Hey everybody, it's Mike from Orderflows and welcome to today's video. It's Friday, October 21st of 2022, and this market it's insane. If the market did the same thing every day all the time, well, we'd pretty much have it all figured out, right? And hopefully we'd be rolling in the dough. But then again, we'd also be bored. And this market definitely is not a market that is going to bore you. Starting from about just before 7 o'clock, or sorry, just before 8 o'clock, we had, a nice big pump up of about 40 points, pulled back about 25, then another big pump of another 40, and then pull back and another big rally, going up into where we are right now. We're up about 70 points. And I want to talk about some of the things here that was happening in the order flow, just as this market was getting ready to jump up about 40 points, and the second rally of about 40 points. And for those of you that are sort of new to the markets, I mean, honestly, I don't think people that watch my videos are relatively new to the markets, but what we're seeing here happen, these are big moves, right? Don't underestimate these moves that you're seeing here. These are very fast moves, and if you're caught off-sides, if you're short going into this rally, it's just it's brutal if you don't have a stop in there. I always recommend you have to have a stop in the market, just to prevent, to save you from yourself when there are these big moves, because a lot of times, the markets were just moving, having these small little movements. Now, again, this is a 5-minute bar chart before I jump into the order flow, but, most of the time, this is what we're expecting, what was happening here. But now you're seeing these bars with 15 point ranges, which is, it's quite big. And again, if you're not using a stop, you're going to get your head handed back to you on a stake. So let's just sort of go back to around the 7 o'clock time. Market was coming in down into our first lows of the day here, and we were coming in around this 43. We came down here. This was a new low at the time, 42 and a quarter. And as we're coming in here, we're starting to see some signs of buying coming in terms of, if you're looking at the deltas, the delta volume percentages are quite strong, 26, 44. We got a couple negative ones in here where it's, minus 25, minus 37. But again, you're at your low, you're expecting to see selling. When you start to see buying coming in at the lows and strong buying at that, that's what these teal cells are, is telling you this buying that you're seeing coming in is strong relative to the volume in the bar that's taking place. And we actually got a divergence here. We're at this point, this was the low of the day, 42 and a quarter. And you got positive delta, 131 at the low of the day, right? So that's in itself is generally a bullish sign. And then you're going to add in some of the order flow to it. You got a bullish order flow ratio right here, 0.23. It's reading what's happening in the order flow and it's giving you that blue number there. And to me, that's generally a nice buy signal, right? The market did rally up a little bit, from that 44-ish area up into the 48s, just sort of hung around. Then we started pulling back and going sideways. Okay, so at that point, it's just okay. Take what you can out of the trade and wait for the cash open. Now, right before the cash open, again, we got this nice big pump up here. But again, if you're getting long off this low here, right? It's one thing to say, oh yeah, you should have been buying it in here at 44 and, holding it all this time. And then, finally you got that big run up here. That was at 720, right? The best trades move quickly in your favor. They don't just sort of go up, come back down, hang around your entry price for a half hour, and then, miraculously start making their move. There's so much other order flow that's coming into the market. Right, if you're long off that low at 44, call it 44, 44 and a half, and gets up to 48, and then just sort of lingers around, right? Comes back down even to 43, back up to 47, just sort of hanging around. Hindsight's 20/20, and you could look back and say, oh yeah, you see the market ran 50 points, yeah, but then in the meantime, before it ran there, it's just rotating aimlessly around, your entry price. Maybe you could have got a few points out of it. Maybe you caught this pop, but realistically, you should only got a few points out of it. If you're a scalper, right? Scalpers, yeah, I see people use that term. Yeah, I'm a scalper, but then they hold the trades for 15, 20, 30 minutes, that's not by definition scalping. That's day trading. So anyway, we made this new low here. We started coming down to 2.25 again. We had another divergence, then came down to our low of the day at 1.5, 41.5 here. And then we start seeing the aggressive buying start coming in. What do we see? We see stacked buying imbalance here. This bar's actually got 4 buying imbalances. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got strong delta relative to volume, and we're closing near our max deltas, right? Which is also a very good sign. I mean, our delta's closing at 225. Our max delta is 228. So we know that this bar is dominated by aggressive buyers. Obviously, the next bar, similar story, right? We've got a final delta of 362, max delta of 362. We're closing right on our strongest delta reading. And the market pulls back for a couple bars. Okay, fine. It's not the end of the world. Oh my gosh, I got 2 red candles. I gotta get out. Run for the, you gotta give a trade a chance rather than the first sign of selling coming in. I'm wrong. I gotta get out. And then boom, the next bar, double stacked imbalance in the bar. Very strong delta, 543 relative to max delta, which is 548. Delta into volume, again, 42, right? Another strong number. That's why, the strong numbers that are bullish are colored cyan. The bearish ones are colored magenta. Okay, and then the market starts rallying, right? We're seeing bullish ratio. That's this 38. That's this 0 in here. You're starting to see, again, strong deltas coming in here. 1, 2, 3 out of these 4 bars. This one was also strong, 294, but it wasn't as closing near our max delta. But then look at this. Also, this is interesting. The min delta numbers. 0, 0, 0. What that means is, doesn't mean that there was no selling. Rather, what it means is that there was no min delta in the bar, meaning that sellers took control of the bar from the aggressive buyers, right? I mean, people are selling into the bid price in here, right? There's two-way auction trading going on, but at no point were they ever in control to turn the delta negative, right? And that's a bullish sign, right? If sellers are there, and sellers are going to be there, but if they're not strong enough to turn it from positive to negative, meaning the delta from positive to negative, what do you think's happening? There's strong buying, right? Strong buying tends to, whether it's strong buying or strong selling, it tends to continue in that direction. So if it's strong buying, it's generally going to continue in that direction until something stops it, right? Just as if there was going to be strong selling, what's going to stop it? Well, you're going to need the selling, 1, to weaken, and 2, strong buying to come in. Okay, so we rally, right? We rally from, this basically this 40, well, let's even call it this bar here, 55, right? 55 all the way up to 80. We do that, and again, this is a 30-second chart. So we're talking, we'll call it 55 here at 8 o'clock, 8:03, right? We rally from 55 up to 80, right? That's a very fast move. Very nice. Obviously, we got the stacked imbalance in this bar in here, right here, right? We had that one earlier, the double stacked imbalance. But you can see when a market is moving directionally, what are you looking for? Obviously, the deltas are the first sign. Then you got to start looking at point of controls. Point of controls are obviously going higher, 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 right? A little pullback here, then higher, 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 higher. It's a little lower here, and then higher, higher. Now we got our first big sign of selling coming in here at 8:03. We've got here, right? This was a bar with very strong negative delta, minus 642. You got that stacked selling imbalance, and the market starts selling off a little bit, right? Some strong selling coming in here in these two bars, right? You see the magenta. Okay, maybe this market's going to fall over. But then it starts reversing again, right? So again, if you're short in here, you got to watch. You still got to manage the trade. I mean, once you're in the trade, doesn't mean that's it. I'm done. I go enter my stop loss and my take profit, and go, go out and have breakfast. No, you manage the trade. That's what traders do. That's how you get paid, is managing your trades. All right, so then we start seeing the market turn around. And as we're turning around, what's the first sign? Well, point of controls are going higher on these 3 bars. So again, if you were short in here, you should have a stop. Probably the first place you're going to hide behind is this stacked selling imbalance. And if you did, you'd have been stopped out. Fine. Okay, you get stopped out. I mean, traders get stopped out. Being stopped out isn't the end of the world. That's part of trading. You're going to have bad trades. And there's signs of very strong aggressive buying coming in. You can see the deltas are magenta 4 in a row here. Even in this bar, you have the no min delta 0, right, which indicates a strong directional buying. Obviously, you got the 4 or 5 buying imbalances in this bar, and the market pops up, starts making new highs. Now we're sort of getting into that period before cash open, okay, because at this point, we're coming into 810. In the sort of the 20 years ago, gosh, more than 20 years ago, when there was still the open outcry, pretty active, and Globex traded overnight. S&P's traded till 8:15. So, once you start getting into this 8:15 period, I mean, when I say they traded till 8:15, you traded on Globex until 8:15, and then Globex stopped, and then the pit would open at 8:30. So, I mean, now it's continuous, but I've just sort of been trained ever since, since Globex started, when I've been trading electronically, that there's that sort of that shoulder time when traders are starting getting ready for the cash open, and that's why you tend to see the volumes between 8:15 and 8:30 start to really quiet down, right? You can see in here, right, the volumes were 4,000, 2,800, 5,000, and then that 8:15 time, now people are sort of getting prepared for the cash open. You see the volumes are cut in half. 1,600, 2,800, 1,500, 1,400, 1,700. Traders are just getting ready for the cash open. All right, so boom, cash opens, and we trade all the way down. We start coming off here. We sell off. Doesn't look like much. Again, this is a 30-second chart, but it's a move from basically 73, 74 down to 56. Again, almost a 20-point move, and it then starts reversing, right? You know what sort of day you're going to be looking at in terms of volatility, where this market can have very fast moves when, some of these initial bars, you're talking, 10-point bars right off the bat, right off the cash. 10-point bars on a 30-second chart. This one right here, right? It's 59 1/4 all the way up to 71 3/4. Okay, so what sort of day you're coming into, right? Again, I've talked about this in the past, understanding early if a day is got some volatility or not. I mean, the VIX, in my opinion, is very misleading. It's at 30, well, 29 something change, but essentially 30, and it's actually down since the day before, believe it or not. But I mean, we've sort of just been hanging around just under 30, just sort of like this Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin going to do? We're hanging around 19,000. Dips below into the 18,009 something, but it just doesn't break down. And then the VIX sort of the opposite, right? We hit 30,000, or sorry, 30,000. Jesus Christ! If we got 30,000 in VIX, we get up to 30 in the VIX. We just sort of come right back off of it. Okay, but again, you're understanding now we could be in for a rock and roll day, and this market, it didn't disappoint. Okay. We get right in here. Again, we're seeing some bullish signs in the order flow, right? We're seeing bullish EVA, bullish engulfing value. That's why this is blue. This one is blue. This one is bearish. And then blue here, right? It's telling you it's bullish. This one, no follow through. This one, you got what? 1 tick follow through. I like to see at least 2 ticks follow through. Because if you have something that's bullish in the order flow, you need that follow through. Right? And because once you get into a trade, that's it. That's all you can do as a trader. You can analyze the market, but then you can't do anything else once you're in the trade. I mean, maybe you could add on a position, but there's nothing that you can do to get the market to move in your favor. Now it's in the hands of the other traders, sort of having a either bullish or bearish view of the market. And again, you got something bullish here in the order flow, but no follow through. 1 tick higher, and then it sort of starts coming down. Now we got the bearish value area. Next bar goes inside. Not a good sign, right? If you have something very bullish in the order flow or anything, no matter what you're trading, you got a very bullish sign, and then all of a sudden the market goes inside on the next bar. That's not a good sign for you, right? You want the market to start moving sooner rather than later. and then so two bars later it starts coming off, right? You got that nice red bar. Okay, maybe I get short. Then it comes right back with the nice bullish value area here. This blue box in this bar, which is a very strong sign, and you get the follow through. Okay, actually trades all the way up to 71, and then it comes right back down to 60, in the 68, 67 area. But really, what you're going to do, right? If you got short off of this bearish value area, you're getting short around 63. By the time you get this bullish one, right, you got to be getting out at worst case, 68 and a half, 69. Now you got a nice bullish sign. You got to get long, and then this market just does the amazing jump, right? It goes from basically 68 straight up. I mean, it's a vertical move. In this bar, 68 all the way up to 72. Next bar, all the way up to 74, and then the big bar up here, from 74 all the way up to 85, and it just keeps going up and up and up. It's one of those things where the moves happen so fast that you get your take profit filled, and you're kind of thinking, gosh, I wish I was able to adjust it to go higher. It's one of those things, damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's a greed factor in a way. But you don't fall into that trap. It's like, oh yeah, I should have adjusted it, because sometimes you adjust it and the original take profit would have been sufficient, and then the market turns around and sells off. But this one was just a brilliant move up from the 68 area all the way up into the 96. But again, what were the signs in the order flow? Okay, well, this one, the order flow is kind of mixed. I mean, what you're looking at is the value area in the bar, right, based off of the order flow, which is telling you that where 70% of the volume is, and it's telling you that this bar has got very bullish order flow. Okay, that's why it's colored blue. Right, just this one had bearish one, but it's like the switch got turned. Right, you had something very bearish here, which turned very bullish. Now this time the market ran with it, right, and just goes up and up and up. But again, looking at the deltas, here you got the negative 244. People say, well, Mike, you're buying it into a bar that's got negative delta. Well, yeah, but it's coming in after a bar with very strong order flow in terms of the value area, which is very bullish in this bar, even though it's got a small delta. But again, 44 in delta is a relatively benign number, right? I treat, especially if I'm looking at the E-minis, the delta number of less than 50 as generally neutral, in terms of I'm not negative on it, I'm not positive on it. It's just, it is what it is. And then you got the red bar with negative delta. Okay, fine. I got a red bar with negative delta. That's what I expect to see. And then the next bar, again, more buying imbalances, 2. Obviously, point of control is higher. Next bar, point of control is higher. So even if you missed your entry here, we're starting, point of controls. I've gotten 1 from this one here. It's higher, 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 higher. So you've already got 4 higher point of controls. The deltas are decent, 184, 153. This one obviously very strong, 1520. Multiple buying imbalances. Again, you could have gotten long in any of these 2 other green candles here. I wasn't expecting a 10-point move in the next bar, but you got to be in the position to take advantage of it. I'm more scared to buy after this 10-point move here, right, for another 10-point move, even though you did get it. But really, if you got that bullish sign right here, and how does this bar differ, right? You're going to say, well, why didn't you buy here or here? Well, you got no follow-through order flow on this first one, right? You just go inside. This one, you only went 1 tick higher, right? You got multiple buying imbalances in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bullish order flow in terms of the value area, obviously positive delta. Okay, I'm looking for this market to start moving. It didn't. Selling came in, right? You went 1 tick higher than the high of this bar. If you've been following me for any period of time, you know that when I see something bullish in the order flow, I'm waiting for the market to continue, right? More buying to come in if it's bullish, more selling if it's bearish. And the buying didn't come in off this bullish bar, which is, I don't want to say a bearish sign, but it's not a positive sign in the sense that, I'm going to get long, right? If the market opens up, trades one tick higher, then immediately starts collapsing. That's not a good sign. Okay, but this bar here, right? You got the bullish order flow. Next bar starts rallying, right? Which is what you want to see. I mean, it did pull back a little bit. Did, you know, the high was 68 of this bar. So again, we opened up at 67 3/4, traded all the way up to 71 1/2, and then we pulled back down to 66 1/4. So, you know, you're about 2 points underwater, but still, it's not the end of the world, right? So, oh, you know, I'm taking some heat because the market snapped right back and boom, took off. So anyway, guys, again, I could go on and on about this day. It's just been an insane day. I said these days sometimes they feel like you've been in a wrestling match by the time you get done with the session, or you can just like get to lunch. You know, and get to lunch in one piece. That's great. So anyway, guys, I'll end that video for now. So be sure to like the video and hit subscribe, and you know, I'll try to get you guys a bunch more videos out there. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.